Well, we've talked about microgreens, we've talked about peas, talked a lot about tomatoes. Let's before we wrap up, let's get to our final grow this crop for 2020 squash. We have a couple questions about squash from Facebook. Maria and Don Bosco want to know: can squash grow as well in containers as they do in the garden?
Um, yeah, I mean, most crops can be grown in containers. Okay, let me just say that. I mean, if you, it's a matter of uh, space and size of the container. Uh, Honestly, if you look at squashes, and I don't know if we're talking about summer squash here versus winter squash, because they're different. Um, they all have fairly deep root systems, so they need a fairly large volume of soil. So I probably wouldn't grow them in less than a 5-gallon bucket or something like that. But I mean, we have we have grown potatoes in buckets and asparagus in buckets and rhubarb in buckets. Just make sure you have a drainage hole on it. You could go down to the Home Depot or Lowe's or any garden or any home supplies place and get a bucket and turn it into a container. Um, but I wouldn't put them in a small, flower pot or something that's, gallon size or less. It would need to be 5 gallons to have enough root volume to make the plant grow. Because you're talking one plant per container, not two plants. So it's got to be one squash plant per per container. I think it may make more sense to grow a summer squash in a container like a zucchini or something like that, or a yellow summer squash, because they're sort of a bush plant. They grow in sort of a bush. If you're talking about winter squashes, a lot of them, not all of them, are vining squashes, so they go long distances. I mean, that wouldn't be an issue if you had the space to run the vines, or you can even trellis them. There are some miniature, excellent um, uh, butternut squash varieties that can be trellised. They get miniature size, so you could do a trellis on winter squash. But I think most people that grow plants in containers are doing it because they don't have a lot of space. So I think putting it in getting a bush variety, putting it in something like a 5-gallon bucket would be a good way to grow it. But just make sure it doesn't dry out too much, and make sure you have that drainage hole.